Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Just wanted to make a little response video in reference to the post I put up yesterday. Obviously, I prefaced it with a comment stating that there are two sides to every story, so I'm glad that we're touching base on both sides of the story here today. First off, I want to say one big thing. As far as the organization is going, as far as it's concerned, National Organization of Restoration and Remediation Professionals, which this group is a big part of, we support contractors whether they use an AOB or don't use an AOB. We are simply trying to get down to the bottom of something that has been a very propaganda-filled topic since day one. This might not be a big issue in your area yet, but here in South Florida or in Florida in general, the assignment of benefits is a big topic, if you will. I don't want to call it an issue, as you know there are many people that have opinions on both sides on whether it is an issue or it is not an issue. Personally, I think that there are a lot of negative qualities to it, but at the same time, I see that there are positive sides of it. I have spoken with David Sweet. He's one of the few individuals that I think actually understands the process that is needed in order to utilize an assignment of benefits for your customer's interest, and as well as making sure that their best interest is covered. So there are very few people, in my opinion, that I think understand the true process that is needed, and maybe more training is necessary in that sense. Maybe it is a process or a set of a system, if you will, that is put in place to process these type of claims, to make it a consistent thing across the board, no matter what contractor is putting them in, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to touch base, answer some questions. Once again, I will preface the fact that the organization is behind contractors regardless of whether you use an assignment of benefits or you do not use an assignment of benefits. We hope that your contract supports your business, and we hope that you have a strong contract that essentially would back you up if you ended up going to court. As far as which contract to use, what line items to put in your contract, I am not a lawyer. We are not lawyers. So we would reference you to your lawyer and basically make sure that you're using a lawyer that is licensed in the state in which you are practicing business yourself. Licensing is important pretty much with everything that we do. You're not going to go to a doctor and see a doctor that is unlicensed. You're not going to go to a mechanic that is not certified, nor is he, licensed if he's a specialty mechanic working on your specific vehicle, a GMC certified technician, so on and so forth. I mean, I'm just using that because I'm sitting in my truck in a parking lot right now. So we get into this, and a lot of the things that we're talking about are two topics. There's the assignment of benefits, and then there's the licensing, which I am not one way or the other as far as licensing. I think that it's a topic that needs to be discussed, and we need to discuss it from both sides, period. The assignment of benefits, being a contractor who has never used an assignment of benefits, I personally do not think that it is necessary. I get paid much faster than anybody that I talk to that has an assignment of benefits. Most everybody I've spoken with, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're out there using an assignment of benefits and you get paid in 10 to 15 days, or if not on completion of your job, I'd love to speak with you and hear your experiences and how you're getting that pushed through and getting payment so quickly with an assignment of benefits. But needless to say, I get paid very quickly. I do not have a lot of outstanding accounts receivable, and I don't have to go to litigation in order to go to collections on a lot of my bills. So we're very fortunate in that fact. I guess we're lucky. Maybe we found a process that works for us. Maybe it is what it is. Every business is different. That is very important. Every business is different. So let's get off to some questions that I had. This is in response to, the first one is in response to a question from Ken Larson, which I think I might have touched on briefly. Is this what NORP represents? Licensing and AOB attacks. First off, I'm sorry if you think that this is an attack on the assignment of benefits, and I'm not sure as to why you might have thought that. I am simply, like I stated in the post, making sure that we put one side of the story out there, and this is one side of the story. And as soon as I find a good video to describe the other side of the story, and if you have one, please show me. I will post that as well. But yeah, no attacks on the assignment of benefits, just bringing light to a situation which there are more than one opinions and viewpoints on. And I think that contractors in our industry, who I represent contractors, not lawyers, not consultants. Unfortunately, we are here to support you, considering you are the fact that, you support our industry as well. But I support contractors and those people that are restoration and remediation professionals, those people doing this work every single day. That's what it's all about. So armchair warriors, briefcase cowboys, whatever you want to call yourselves, I get it. And I respect a lot of the things that a lot of people do. But what I will not put up with is people trying to tear apart ideas and a basic conversation that we're trying to have just in order to bring light to an entire topic. Not one side of the topic or not the other side of the topic. Both sides. It's very important you look at both sides before you make a judgment. Just for the mere fact that, you want to make sure you're making your judgment with an educated viewpoint. We always talk, and I always hear you, Ken, talking about education being important. So with that being said, I would hope that you've educated yourself on both sides of the assignment of benefits. Obviously, you're not performing as a licensed general contractor, or you're not acting as a, signing contracts with customers and doing the physical remediation work yourself currently. So I would wonder where you're getting your viewpoints from as far as how it's affecting us, considering I understand you do expert witness work, but my question would be, how is this affecting you negatively, and why is it that you are so for the assignment of benefits, considering you're not a contractor? But I appreciate your outlook and your opinion regardless. So that was the answer to that question. And like I said, to answer your question one last time, NORP supports every single person that is doing the work day to day out here, whether they're doing pipes up north and they're doing the frozen pipe work up north, doing dryouts and stuff like that, whether you're down here and waiting for another cold front to come through and another small little loss, considering Florida's nice and warm still and we don't get any fun stuff that you guys are dealing with. By the way, I am jealous of all these pictures I'm seeing. Anyways, we support all of you, regardless of what your contract says. We're here to help you in any way we can and bring light to the situations and topics that are hot in our industry. This is a hot topic. So moving on to the next question. There was a statement, I guess you could say. Ken had mentioned that a vast majority of claims in Florida will be argued. He goes, I'm tempted to say 100% of them will be argued, but I have no idea of that data. If a Floridian restorer doesn't have an AOB, they are likely to have their invoice slashed or delayed months or even years. I'm going to stop there before I read any more of his comment there. Just kind of touch on this. First and foremost, the vast majority of all AOBs are argued, and most contractors are not getting paid any time less than 30 days. Period. Usually 90. And they're having to fight for it. Most of those jobs that have an AOB end up in litigation. I would be interested to see the percentage of jobs in litigation that have AOBs versus the ones in litigation that are self-pay or contract dispute issues, if you will. Personally, and this is just me speaking from my experience, and I guess going from a couple different businesses that I've spoken with that do similar things, about that, most self-pays or reimbursements happen in less than 30 days. So a lot of my customers, when given the documentation, so the way that I do it is I give them their book of docs as soon as they give me the final payment on our dry out. So usually I'm paid on completion, personally. They take the book of docs to the insurance company with the receipts and proof of payment, as well as documents of all the work that had been completed, photos, if you will, evidence, proof, and they get reimbursed. I've had customers reimbursed in as quick as 12 days. I've had customers, most of which have been reimbursed in 30 days or less. So I feel that this system works for both myself, the contractor, cash flow, everything, as well as not negotiating, by the way. And my customer gets every single penny from the insurance company when they're going through reimbursement. Every single time. Simply because of the fact that we don't bill for things that we shouldn't. Secondarily, they've already paid. The insurance company is somewhat obligated at that point to make sure that they cover that loss, especially when it is paid for by the homeowner. Reimbursement is a big claim in there. I'd love to get somebody involved on this discussion at some point, maybe another day. They can talk from the insurance side about reimbursement and how it has helped to support the customer, and the fact that maybe another lawyer as well, if the guy, I forget his name, I'm sorry, Imran, if he would like to get on one day and tell us whether he thinks that the contractor has more rights under the assignment of benefits or whether the homeowner has more rights under the initial policy that they have with their insurance company, because I've had a few discussions with that, and from my understanding, the insured, the homeowner or property owner at that time, has far more rights to collect for payment from the insurance company. The problem is financing, and that's what we'll get to here in a little bit. I just want to cover some of these questions. The next thing that was mentioned in that comment is the difference between a healthy and a necessary profitable business person and a greedy person is if a person becomes greedy when they forfeit their values, morals, and ethics in order to acquire more. The insurers are typically the greedy ones, not the contractors. I agree 110%. I definitely think that the insurance companies are trying to take advantage of situations. And in a reactive state, our industry has jumped to or looked to a assignment of benefits that has been used in other industries and realized that it could work, while at the same time not understanding what went in line with the assignment of benefits when those companies would use them in other industries, being doctors, window replacement companies for your car insurance, auto insurance repair guys with assignment of benefits for your Geico repair shops, so on and so forth. All that stuff is a process which needs approval. They go off similar systems and processes like Xactimate as we do, and the systems are there. But the one difference, the one key difference is every single one of those industries has an actual system in place in order to make sure that all those claims, whether it's medical, auto, whatever it is, goes through each and every step and everything's provided before payment will be rendered. It's all that the insurance company is asking you to do when using your AOB. So if you are using an AOB, that's all you necessarily need to do is basically make sure that you are on the point with your documentation, so on and so forth. The problem here is accountability. We're not 100% perfect, nobody is, but at the same time, we have to take accountability for the things that we do as restorers that influence our industry in maybe even a negative way. And use of the AOB and misuse of the AOB, and maybe it's misunderstanding what its purpose is and how it's supposed to be used before they do it, is probably part of the problem. Lack of education. Here's a USB thumb drive. Stick this on your contract, put it out there. If your customer doesn't want to pay you, or the client or whatever, the insurance carrier doesn't want to pay you, I'm sorry, I don't normally go through that process, then give me a call and we'll represent you and we'll get you your money through court, so on and so forth. Well, I'm sorry, that's dragging the customer through a process that they don't want to, because remember, if you're not doing the rebuild and the reconstruction and you're only arguing for mitigation here, your customer's getting dragged through a bunch of hassles before they can even put their house together. So you're increasing the amount of time that your customer's house is being affected, all because of the fact that you want to make sure that you're paid, which I completely understand. You have to be paid. But a solid contract, like Clark Brown was mentioning, is all you need. A solid contract, a direction to pay actually works, but you have to enforce it. You have to have a contract that enforces it. Maybe using a price list and getting price list approval by a customer. Sending all this information, using transparency, things along those lines, will help to get you, make sure you get paid quickly. And if you're working directly for the customer and they're going for reimbursement, the process there is really easy. I'll make another video about how I think that the process should be, and that's personally my opinion, but we'll get back to this. I would love you to please provide proof that this and that I do not have use of an AOB and never have negotiated with a carrier or a customer personally. So there's a process that works 95% of the time, and I really love to see if there's anybody out there using an assignment of benefits that gets paid in less than 15 days on most all of their claims, if not guaranteed 100% of their claims getting paid in less than 30 days, collections-wise, accounts receivable. Now I want to get into a comment that was made from Imran Malik, and I'm not doing this to call anybody out. I'm not doing this to put anybody on the table. I think that everybody's opinion is very valid, and I appreciate everybody making their post that they have, because this is a very important topic which we need to bring light to. So we want to see both sides. If you guys are on here, please post up your links to any of these things that are saying that are, to back what up the points. I'm going to read your whole post here, Imran, and then we'll get to some responses to it. And I see where you're coming from, and I don't completely disagree. Business is business, and I understand your perspective. Whitney Wiseman, like most of the narrative being pushed around by the insurance industry, you are confusing two distinct issues: insurance fraud, which is one thing, and using an AOB, which is another. If there is a bad contractor out there that you are saying they would not be committing insurance fraud if they never had the use of the AOB. I'm not really sure that one. Don't follow. My position is simply that the AOB is the best way to protect the contractors for being paid. If a contractor wants to run up a bill, I'm afraid they would do so or without the use of an AOB. Please do not confuse the issue. That is what the insurance company wants you to do. is to make the terms of the AOC fraud synonymous with each other. My representing contractors should not automatically be assumed as having a financial interest. It is my job to protect my contractor clients, so that it is what I do. AOB have long been used by the medical doctors to bill for the insurance companies for their services, along with many other services providers. Florida case law has recognized the AOB for over 100 years. How is it all of a sudden becoming a bad thing? First off, the AOB is not a bad thing, as I stated earlier in the video. It just is not educated. Doesn't come with any education, doesn't come with any instructions. It basically says here, just put this in your terms and I'll get you paid. Keep doing what you're doing. And don't worry about, you're not telling people not to worry about their documentation. You're not telling people to do any of these things. But at the same time, these guys who are not doing the process correctly, which, granted, need help, these guys can't rely on an assignment of benefits just to get paid because of the fact that they're not doing things properly. Everybody in our industry should do things pretty much close to the same manner. We should all walk a job, scope a job, put together a scope, apply the scope to the job, get the process going, implement all the different materials, equipment, and manpower that you need in order to complete the said work, and then make sure that your customer is best taken care of. What's most important here is a balance between making sure that the contractor is best represented, while at the same time making sure that homeowners and property owners are represented as well. We need to make sure that the only two parties that are being looked at here are these two. I don't care about the insurance company. I don't care about their dividends. I don't care about their stocks. Could care less. All I care about insurance-wise is if something happens at my personal house, that the coverage that I have covers me for my loss. And I should probably look more into that. But at the same time, I'm too busy worrying about my customers' losses. So, simply put, you do have skin in the game. You're a lawyer who represents contractors who specifically use assignment of benefits. Doctors and automotive industries, so on and so forth. The AOB is used properly with the systems and checks and balances in place to make sure that there's no fraud being or manipulation of the system, if you will, in place. Once again, like I stated earlier, I work for the homeowner, not the insurance carrier. And every contractor should do the same, in my opinion, but I can't control that. And a lot of the times with the assignment of benefits, these individuals are walking in and contractors are walking into properties, and they're representing themselves as saying, we work directly with the insurance company and we handle all the payments and we handle all the processes and we do this and we do that. And it's giving the customers a false sense of comfort and a false sense of reality, and not informing them of the true issues that are going on with their claim. Like I said, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about people out here who don't understand the processes that are in place and what need to happen with an assignment of benefits to be properly used. And there is a place for it to be properly used. So, IRM, like I said, there's a place for it to be properly used. I think you'll always have a job. I don't think your industry is going anywhere, regardless of AOB or not. You're still going to have to represent contractors. It's just one small contract. So I think you'll do plenty of business, and we look forward to hearing from you. And maybe you can get involved in some of our meetings, and start helping the industry grow in other ways than maybe just out in the courtrooms. We could use some advice, we could use some lobbyists, we could use your help. So through that, I appreciate your comments, and like I said, we're not looking to attack anybody. We're just looking to bring both sides of the story to the table. And then I believe I only had couple more comments from Ken. Let's see. And I just want to clarify this, Ken. The state of Florida does not create the classes. They do not enforce or determine anything other than what set syllabus or what set topics need to be covered by any of the schools that are applying to become educational providers for the state of Florida. In order to become an educational provider for the state of Florida, you have to have a national organization such as NORP. And in order to do that, you have to become a qualified educational provider. You can get your educational provider number. Once you do this, you can do both CEU courses. You can do the 14-hour classes for the state licensing, as well as issue the test if your test is approved by the state. Certain things are looked at by them and certain things aren't looked at. Believe it or not, the state doesn't actually read through your entire test that you give to qualify people for the test. They simply look at the class and the outline of what you're doing, make sure that it falls within their required guidelines and that you hit every topic. So there's very little enforcement on the actual classes, and that's one thing that I think we could putting together better classes and making those classes available to professionals in our field, training them on all the different things like the assignment of benefits, or creating a proper drying plan, or implementation of certain equipment on the job site. These type of classes and courses and certifications would help to make our industry better as a whole. I don't think that anybody can argue with me that education hurts our industry by any means. And I was just wondering how you thought this was an industry destroying development. Just how so? I think that having some enforcement of some rules would be great. I don't know who's going to do it necessarily, whether it's the state, the federal government, whether it's our own industry ourselves, whether it's a certification board, the RIA, the IICRC. I don't know, and I don't know who has plans on that. All I know is that from 2008 until 2018, which we just currently rolled into, the contractor licensing laws and the enforcement of said laws and codes for the work that we do as general contractors and building contractors in the state of Florida, the increase in enforcement since 2008 has done nothing but improve our industry, hands down. Nobody can argue that. All I can really sit here and say in reference to licensing or regulations and things is that from my experience in the industry outside of restoration, but the construction industry, is that it's only helped us to make better buildings, better processes, better systems, and all in all, a much better product for our customers. So I think that it's a plus, but it has to be done very cautiously, and we as an organization have to make sure that we're there to walk through the process with whoever it is, ensure that we're looked out for, if you will. And that's what we're here for, to make sure that we're looking out for all the rest of the contractors in the association, in the industry. We can't get rid of the bad guys in our groups. We can't get rid of the bad industry, people that make things bad, but what we can do is we can be more accountable, and we can hold people more accountable for the work that they do. And if we do that as professionals, then we'll be a better industry as a whole. So we really have to do that. And then I just had a couple questions for you guys. Ken, do you feel that the AOB is the solution for contractors' cash flow and AR issues, period? And do you really feel that the AOB benefits both the property owner and the contractor in a mutual status, in a mutual way, not one more than the other? That everybody's represented, and we don't care about the insurance company. Everybody's represented equally. And for the lawyer in the group, I apologize, I don't know your name. What percentage of the clients that you do represent are using the AOB as a means to process their claims? And are you open to discussing other alternative routes and processes in order to make sure that your customers and clients get paid, that they could implement and maybe use in their systems or their processes and even their contracts, so that they got paid quicker? That wasn't necessarily the assignment of benefits. If there was another option out there to protect them, would you be there to help with that? I'd be more than happy to have your input and your help along the lines of creating that. So that being said, I think I've gone on long enough about the assignment of benefits, its drawbacks, its flaws. You watch the video about the drawbacks of what the assignment benefits. The benefits are clearly there, obviously. If you're a contractor who does hundreds of losses a month and it's in and out, run and gun, the assignment of benefits might be good for you. But if you're a local contractor who builds a name off quality and customer service, so on and so forth, personally, I think that the direct contract to customer is a much better route. And that, that's the way that I do things. And whatever you choose to do, run with it. And just make sure that you're taking the best advantage of your contracts. Make sure you're making sure that you take care of your customers. And unfortunately, we're here dealing with the insurance companies, and that's a whole nother topic. We'll do a whole nother video on that later on down the road. But hope everyone's having a great start to the new year, getting lots of jobs. It sounds like everybody up north is absolutely crushing it. I'm jealous down here in Florida. All we have is warm weather and clouds at this point in time. We're getting a cold front next week. Might see the 40s at night, but that's going to be it for us this year. Like I said, just be smart about what you use, guys. Make sure you're researching all the information that you're getting out here. this is the internet, and everything is not true. These are a lot of opinions, and you know, a lot of what I stand for in my business, it might be different from what a lot of other guys stand for in their business. But all that matters here is that we support each other as contractors, and that one contractor to another, we can look out for each other's best interests. And these groups are made, just on one point off topic, these groups are here to support each other, not tear anybody down. If you are here, make sure that you are here to support every one of your brothers and sisters in the industry, and give them positive feedback on what they're doing. And even if you are going to give them criticism, make sure it's a positive criticism, and you do it in a way that's respectful to what they're needing to do. Maybe don't call them out in public. Maybe send them a private message and send them some information in their experience. This is no place to grandstand. This is a place for us to all work together in order to gain a better grasp on the industry, as well as make sure that we make those changes that are necessary and fight the evils that we have kind of hold us back and keep us from what we're doing. We are a industry in its infancy, if you will, and for us to succeed and for everybody in our industry to succeed, we need to come together, have a solid unified voice, and let everybody know, the insurance companies, let lawyers, let lobbyists, the states, the governments, that we're here to stay, we're here to do things right, and we're here to make sure that we get paid for the work that we do. So when you're out there, just make sure that you're looking out for your customers' best interest at all times, and never questioning or judging whether you should throw away your, any of your what you're doing because somebody said something on the internet. Stand strong, do your research, and if there is a true reason for you to adjust things based off of something you hear and you've researched and you've done your due diligence on, then hey, that's what we're here for also. Let's help each other build, let's help each other grow, let's make 2018 absolutely amazing year, guys. I'm excited about where we're going to take the organization, and I hope everyone's here with me. So God bless, take care, talk to you guys later.